Hello, Kit Marie.
Hello, Meryl.
Kit Marie is the school's climate coordinator for climate ambassadors in the east of England and host of Coffee Jog Pod and author and just an amazing person all round. I've just been checking out your Climate and Nature Action in Education East of England bulletin board, which has got some of the most incredible resources available to busy educators. So congrats on that. Um, and welcome to a lovely little chat. And because we want to find
Yes.
out about climate ambassadors and about what you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
well, first of all, I can't take any credit for that board. I just collate things that all the community puts together, but we'll come to that no doubt later on the chat.
but even just acting as a collation, doing that collation is a hugely important role because there's so much in this busy landscape that we're in now in terms
Yeah.
of climate and nature education that as a teacher at the chalk face, it just feels like you're being bombarded. Oh, try this, do that. Here's someone to work with. Here's that, and just someone to just sift through it is doing an incredibly important role. So thank you. Can you describe actually your role in the east of England as that hub
Mm.
lead? Can you describe what you do in a day-to-day sort of?
Yeah, so we're part of a consortium of 9 members. And it's led by the University of Reading. So I'm based at the University of East Anglia Tyndall Centre of Climate Change Research. Don't know which side of the anyway. So yeah, and so there's 9 of us regional hub managers across England to support the Department for Education's climate change and education sustainability strategy. So my role as a regional hub manager is to coordinate efforts from this Department for Education funded scheme, Climate Ambassador scheme, getting folks like yourself, because you're a trained climate ambassador up there in the Northeast. And at the moment in the east of England, we've got about 120 trained climate ambassadors, all enhanced DBS checked, and just trying to pair them up with schools, buddy them up with schools, come to event to facilitate things in terms of supporting schools with their climate action plans or things that they can work towards that they've put into their climate action plans already.
Fantastic. And so there's a growing number of organisations. Climate Ambassadors is one of the ones that's being,
Oh, yes.
been effectively supported by DFE, and it's quite a busy space. So how do you see the climate ambassadors? Because we can't just rely on climate ambassadors for schools. There's so many other things that could be useful. How do you see climate and ambassadors and other organisations complementing each other's work?
Mm. Well, the best thing about this job, Meryl, is that I like to think. I mean, it gets sold and promoted as a volunteering scheme, but actually, it's a lot more than that. I seem to see climate ambassadors as a facilitator and a collaborator and a connector. So what we do here is that we say, well, if you're already doing this work, so you are maybe a charity or a sustainability organisation or a local authority or anything like that, is if you just keep doing what you're doing and then come on board with the climate ambassador scheme, then it's yet another connective tissue because of course there's so many things going out there already and schools just do not know where to turn to. So my hope is that if a school comes to any of the sister projects, that's the 3 DFE funded projects, Climate Ambassadors, Sustainability Support for Education, National Education Nature Park, and our 4th partner, Let's Go Zero, just if all they can do is say, I just start one of them, then actually we can then help them navigate to all this wonderful stuff that's out there and connected to.
Indeed, because I'm a climate ambassador, but also a Northeast facilitator for the Young Green Britain Challenge, and obviously a regional hub lead for the Ministry of Eco Education. And
Yep.
I refer to all of the different organs because we all do something slightly different.
Yep.
But we're, as I say, it's a bit of a synergy going on, and because it's been new and organically growing, rather than feeling like a disparate set of organisations, there's huge crossover already.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So can you share any sort of specific examples of some projects that you've been doing that you think, that collaboration has provided sort of coherent learning for schools in the climate
Yeah.
space?
Oh, there's so many examples, but the probably the most the easiest one I think is the Norfolk Wildlife Trust, and also the kind of the Wildlife Trust kind of charities, which are amazing. So what we've been doing with the Norfolk Wildlife Trust, for example, is that all the wildlife trusts around the country have something called the Wilder School Scheme. That's something that they've been doing already. They've been doing it for a few years, some longer than others. Some trusts can offer it for free to schools. Some there's a tiny little fee, whatever it is. So they're already doing that. So the last thing we want to do as climate ambassadors and come in and say, right, you need to do this. That's not what it is at all. So what we're doing with the Norfolk Wildlife Trust and Isabel and the team there, who are amazing, is we're saying, right, let's have a look at your criteria for wilder schools. Can we take a look at it? And then what we'll do, we'll come back to you and say, oh, this is how what you're doing can link into a school's climate action plan, blah, blah, blah. So what we've done, we've collaborated where if a school does the wilder school schemes, so Norfolk Wildlife Trust doesn't have to do anything different. They can also work on their climate action plan naturally or organically by doing the wilder school scheme, because we provide the portfolio and all the stuff for that. Yeah.
And learners are benefiting because not only are they learning about climate, but they're learning about their natural space. It gives them that place-based learning and connection with nature, sense of belonging, because that could be hugely powerful. And absolutely shows that collaboration is, can overcome some hurdles that schools think about, and it's not that we're all trying to vie for the space. We're trying to.
So if a school in Norfolk only engages with the wilder school scheme, they're actually doing everything they need to do, really, in the eyes of the strategy, because Let's Go Zero have helped with the climate action plan related to the wilder school scheme. National Education Nature Park are involved because the schools have to map their habitats. They can do that through the National Education Nature Park. And then they've got the climate ambassadors because the Norfolk Wildlife Trust folks are trained to be climate ambassadors, but they can also request other climate ambassadors to come and support them with the wilder school scheme. So it's just like, there you go.
And if they wanted to, and climate ambassadors I know already are, pointing them in the direction of the Ministry of Eco-Education resources, then they can embed nature across their curriculum without having to do any extra research. So, we are trying to definitely, we're a jigsaw that fits together, and it's not that we're not all fighting for that same space.
I love that, a jigsaw. Yeah, that's right. Because individual pieces don't seem to matter much. You can't tell the picture, can you, from one single piece? But then when it comes together in that collage and you think, oh, that's how it all links together. And there's no puzzle piece is exactly the same as another.
No,
we all
definitely
do
not.
Unique things.
We're all just part of a bigger
analogy.
picture. That's my primary school teaching stuff coming out. So what are the barriers then? So we're talking about the positive aspects, and there are so many, there's countless for the actual schools and the teachers and the learners, huge benefits. But what are the barriers to saying how, what do you think is sort of slowing schools down or preventing them from taking part?
Yeah, so what we've seen in our feedbacks with all of our events we're doing, all of our engagements, is it's so common, and it's probably something that people watching this have heard all the time, and they definitely feel it themselves. And that is, we have the willingness, have the motivation, we have the desire, we just do not have the time, the resources, or funding. So if you allow me, I just want to read something out. So this was from evaluation of a wonderful event that we did, fantastic event. And it was all about bringing schools together in the Waveney Valley constituency to form a collaborative alliance so they can work together. And this person said, I have, this is so good. She says, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do this, but I'm already doing the work of two people and feel overwhelmed by adding this to my job too. The same is true for all employees at my place of work at the school she works at. We just don't have the capacity. Yeah. So that is a common thread.
It's not one that
even if we're offering it to them, they can't take it up sometimes.
And we can offer them pieces of the jigsaw, but we can't take that responsibility and that weight off their shoulders.
Exactly. So bringing that jigsaw analogy again, it's like, here are the pieces. We can even help you describe where it goes. But at the end of the day,
if you don't have time to pick up the time
to put them together yourself. Exactly. Yeah.
So we know that there's an ongoing curriculum and assessment review, and I know that time has been asked for to say, if you want us to do this and do this properly, we need time in the curriculum to free up for discussions and taking this in different directions. So hopefully the Department of Education are listening to that, because I think the slight inclination I've heard so far was that they're going down climate still belongs in science and geography, and it does overwhelmingly. But that doesn't mean that if we want people to learn how to live sustainably and understand about the consequences of fast fashion and food, what we eat and everything, that you can't bring it into all those different subjects to just take some of the weight off of science and geography, which is already got full curriculums themselves. So
Yes.
But for teachers, for busy teachers, I've heard numerous occasions recently of teachers who've been trying to lead on sustainability as well as doing their core job, and they're burning out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
something has to give, and to make it sustainable in the long run, it has to be that they're given time to do
Mm.
so. And then the
In
schools might,
fact,
yeah.
yeah, in fact, one of the things I recommend, because I'm an ex-geography high school teacher and I'm still a consultant for the Geographic Association, is that when people say to me, Kit, we all schools need a name sustainability lead, and I've been asked to do, I'm like, if you work in the geography or science department, I think I would recommend you say no, because if you allow a school to give you that responsibility, you've got a massive risk of siloing. So you should turn around and say, yes, I'm very happy to be part of a sustainability team, but I don't think the sustainability lead should be someone in the geography or the science department.
Yeah, no, it's really tricky, and even for senior
Mm.
leadership teams who get it, they don't have the time and they don't have
Yeah,
that support really. But those jigsaw pieces are there, ready for them,
yeah,
as and when they work out how to put it together. Um, but and that, as you say, that guidance with them. So I see you as I see the climate ambassadors as a central pivot role between, because effectively you're seeing everything from what goes on in the curriculum to how we can decarbonize our buildings. You've got
oh yes.
experts for doing all of that, as well as bringing specific expertise into schools. Is that how you see yourselves? Do you see yourselves as a sort of linchpin for in terms of those edge pieces for the jigsaw?
Yeah. What a good way of putting it. We're definitely hooking onto that analogy now, aren't we?
I'm going to forget it now. That's it. That's enough.
It's great. It's so great. So yeah, yeah, yes and no, because the climate ambassadors kind of scheme was originally kind of put in place as in, this is what the DfE are requirement of schools. Here are some people to help you with that, right? So it seemed more black and white, but it's actually evolved a lot more since then. And so what we're actually finding now is that when our partners at Let's Go Zero or National Education Nature Park or teachers have gone through sustainable sport for education and they're coming down the line and thinking, oh, well, we need someone's bit more specific expertise. But of course, some of the expertise that some of these education settings need are so specific,
Yeah,
like our solar panels have stopped working,
yeah,
and it's hard to find a climate ambassador who's got that very specific expertise. So the climate ambassador scheme is more of a case of someone who kind of like has a knowledge and understanding of renewable energy in general to say, well, and then going into school says, and help them troubleshoot rather than to fix.
yeah.
So say, well, okay, have you got someone in to check your inverters? What's an inverter? Kind of thing. You know, so now that climate ambassador has that little bit of, you
Yeah.
know, knowledge to kind of support that, and then that climate ambassador can then come back to me or the other regional hub manager and say, look, this school's got some really specific needs. Is there do we have any other ambassador around the country that could help, or have we got partnerships? Because we've got partnerships as well, like with Solar for Schools, who could potentially
Yeah.
help with that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's less about the ambassador themselves being that
About that
specific
network.
expert. It's more about, yes, exactly, that collaborative expert. So you could say, well, maybe it's less about being the edge. The edge is probably more the framework. It's more like the bits of they're an individual piece that comes to form like a bit of the segment of the picture, and then that's what that part of the puzzle is all about. Oh, that's what that part of the puzzle is all about.
Because for learning, I don't know anything about solar. I haven't, so that sort of those expertise, if we think about, we're in all sorts of crises across, to terms of decarbonisation and all the rest of it. So
Yeah.
effectively, if we put all of those climate ambassadors together, there's probably an expert in almost anything. They're just
Oh
maybe,
yeah.
yeah. So, but also it makes it really relevant in terms of its place-based. It's that sort of, each school is an
Yes.
individual, has individual needs. It might be on a floodplain, they might have flooding issues, they might have all sorts of other problems going on, but through this network of amazing climate ambassadors. So these are volunteer roles, aren't they?
They are volunteers, but I would say volunteer on the loosest sense. So yes, we do have some people who are like retired or they work part-time and they want to do something else. But we also have organisations which increasingly they have like volunteering days. So like Aviva here in Norwich, for example, they have 3 days of volunteering a year that their staff have to take. So some of them might choose to do climate ambassadors as one of their things they do. But mostly, actually, it's folks who are already doing the job and want to have more engagement with schools. and so it's a vehicle for them to take their work into schools. So long as
Because they might
they're
work
not
in wind
promoting any trade
power. Yeah.
products.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they're already going in. They're already trying to encourage, like the climate education and green careers part of the climate action plan. Like, we need the new engineers of the future, the young engineers of the future, because we don't have enough coming into the system, right? So them going into say, especially here in Norfolk, we've got renewable energy, the offshore wind farms and Sizewell C and stuff like that in Suffolk. These people are coming in saying, look, we need folks who are really into this kind of stuff to skill them up. So actually, they do a lot of outreach in local schools. You said about local context, and saying, right, this is how can we support you youngsters to get fired up and imaginative and tap into your engineering skills, like getting more young girls and women into engineering, for example.
Into STEM, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was a science teacher, obviously I've got a PhD. I call myself Docky B. But the kids would go. I'd bring someone in. Try and bring someone in almost every week to talk about any aspect of what we were doing, whether it was ecology or whether it was renewable energy or whatever. And
Yeah.
it'd be, oh, it's a real scientist. It's just like, but they can have a huge amount of impact.
Yeah.
But huge amount of impact bringing external experts into a classroom, even just to have a little discussion with the kids about why this is important, what roles potentially they could be, and you can see those light bulb moments are often when you've got these experts out coming in, and the kids love to listen to them. And it used to be 10 years ago, it used to be, oh, how much do you earn? Now it's not. It's about what you're doing that's benefiting our environment. Those questions developed
That's
over
good
time.
insight. It's a good insight. And one of the best, so now I'm speaking now as an ex-teacher who had the crunch of the curriculum, right? So one of the things that, for example, a climate ambassador can do, which is so simple and it can dovetail with your curriculum. So I'll say it by example very, very quickly because I know time. So there's this wonderful friend of mine called Louise Wilson who works for the Environment Agency. She works for the FENS 2100 project, which I strongly recommend you look up. And so what we did is that I went into a school, I taught a year 10 lesson on behalf of the teacher about the 6 stages of inquiry. They had to do it. It's part of their curriculum. They got to prepare for their fieldwork. So I said, can I take that and I'll get someone in to talk? We don't have the time, Kit. No, trust me. I'm an ex-teacher. I'll do this. So we got through the learning objective content within like 30, 40 minutes. Louise then dialed in from her office and talked about her role for the Environment Agency, how it links to the 6 stages of inquiry. And then they had a 10-minute Q&A with Louise about her job at the Environment Agency. No curriculum time was lost. They had that wood for the trees kind of thing, seeing how the Environment Agency works in an area around their school.
And Louise didn't even need to spend more than half an hour with the kids, because there was no travel time. It was just dialed in. I mean, the beauty of
there you go.
Online sessions. Absolutely love it. Good example.
That's just one example of many. Example of many.
So if you could think blue skies, all the rest of it, what would a truly collaborative, because we know we're just growing and this is growing organically, so it gets confusing and all the rest of it. What would a truly collaborative climate education ecosystem look like across the UK? What policy changes do we need? What mechanisms could support different organisations to work together effectively?
Blue sky thinking. Okay, so I think what you said a bit earlier about the curriculum view is just to pull back on the expectations and the time. Give subjects the space to breathe, to be a lot more, allow a lot more connectivity with their local context, their local environment. So, for example, like I mentioned the FENS, all those schools, it's a huge area, the FENS project, and that influences all the way down to Essex and all the way up to Peterborough and everything. So can you imagine if every school had the time to just absorb through every curriculum, music, arts, drama, English, to absorb themselves about the FENS as an environment, how it's changing the climate change, how can there be adaptive community-based collaboration to kind of become more adaptive and resilient, getting timed for the folks from the Environment Agency to come in, from Anglia Water to come in, from the farmers to come in, and have it a real celebration.
Music to my ears, Kit Marie. Music to my ears. Yeah.
So that's my blue sky thinking.
And actually, as the lead in the East of England region, I think you are doing that magic. I have to say, you can see it. It's just forming. It's crystallizing. It's coming together. And as schools are given more time, because they have to be able to do some of this work, then that can really, precipitate into something really incredible. We can see it up in the Morecambe Bay curriculum, and they're trying to really do
Yes.
some groundbreaking breaking work up there. And so, and if we have it in these local regions, I've got stuff going on in Northumberland and Newcastle, which is incredible. And all of us just doing our bit. But if you watch crystallization of a liquid to a solid, it doesn't just start as one place and go all the way out. It starts as
You're right.
little bits of the crystal, little parts of that jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what
Great.
an, I don't have any. I could talk to you all day long. Let's face it, but I don't have any more specific questions, and I think you've answered them beautifully. We've had 25 minutes or so, which is probably long enough for anyone to listen to. Kit Marie, thank you. A real joy as ever to talk to you, and I look forward to the next time.
Absolutely, Meryl. Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me.
That's all right. I'll just stop recording.